If you tolerate abusive words, sexist actions and the violation of women's boundaries in your presence, you are letting misogynists and assaulters think their behavior is normal and acceptable. You are nurturing a culture in which they can and will thrive. You can tolerate the culture that produced and encouraged men like that, or you can change it. You either improve environments in which the less powerful, most of them women, are demeaned, derided, harassed, assaulted, and attacked, or you allow the toxicity to spread and grow. Choose. Think about the women you work with, the women you talk to in meetings or on set. Have you seen someone put their hands where they shouldn't? Have you seen a woman who is clearly uncomfortable being loomed over or intimidated by a man who will not let up? Have you said nothing when a man talked about the bitch who wouldn't go out with him? Are you silent when someone talks about a woman's body parts as if they weren't attached to a human being? Have you tolerated situations in which women are talked down to, shouted down, patronized or relentlessly hit on? Have you done nothing when women who set clear boundaries and call out unacceptable behavior are accused of being unable to take a joke and ostracized? In those situations, do you say nothing? Have you heard about someone who has a reputation for behaving inappropriately and just shrugged your shoulders? When women talk about the exhausting and demeaning verbal and physical incursions they endure, do you believe them? Do you lecture them on what they should do differently? Or do you listen, show compassion, and call out the men who do these kinds of things? Do you know men who think they are not part of the problem who are definitely part of the problem? Do you let it go? Not all men have the same amounts of power, and sometimes it's powerful women who are complicit, or not. But if it does not jeopardize your mental health or physical safety to take action, do something. Say something. Do your bit to tear down the entertainment industry culture that has continued to nurture, cover for and explain away the destruction perpetrated by monsters, and by their lackeys, acolytes and enablers. If they are open to the conversation, ask the women around you what they've experienced. What they tell you might surprise you, or it may not. Either way, you can't call yourself an ally of women, much less a feminist, unless you're willing to listen, educate yourself and take constructive action. Harvey set a tone in this industry, and there are 1,000 men who have been taught it's okay to follow in his footsteps, but you know who is also complicit? Every man who sees it and laughs, or shrugs it off, or says, you know he's kidding, right? The best way for men to help is to use their privilege to support women. Take action against the abuser. Don't cover it up. Don't make excuses. Don't say stuff like, but what about his career? He's responsible. Believe women when they tell you this happened. The biggest thing though? Confront other men when it's just you dudes alone talking. Don't simply express shock that these kinds of things occur and leave it at that. Maintaining a veneer of perpetual shock inoculates men against expectations to hold other men accountable. One more thing, don't blame victims for not coming forward. Blame the powerful folks who knew and helped cover it up. The ones who had little to lose. The entertainment industry is a small town. Women in it, whatever their ages or experience levels, must frequently depend on the opinions and recommendations of powerful men. The tight-knit networks of professional contacts that lead to jobs are hard to break into, and if the men who dominate most of them decide to put a woman in the troublemaker category, good luck. If women don't keep quiet about unwanted advances, toxic cultures, sexist behaviors and questionable hiring practices, they know they could be throwing away everything they have achieved and everything they want to do in the future. It doesn't take much for a powerful man to stymie or end a woman's career. Unless change is promoted and sustained by powerful, connected people in the industry, and the majority of those with the greatest influence are men, more aspiring artists, writers and producers will be harmed. Those who have experienced misogyny, bias, and various forms of physical aggression and mental assault will continue to suppress their suffering. And some of them will leave. We'll never get their stories, we won't get to enjoy their creative output. And the patterns have allowed so much transgression, abuse, and assault, the dynamics that have led to some powerful men hurting women with impunity for years on end, will be perpetuated indefinitely. I'm not okay with that. I bet you aren't either. But no one gets to sit this out. Unless everyone pulls together, and unless men commit to decisively altering the ways of Hollywood, the toxic a-holes will win. Thank you for your attention. Tell us your thoughts. We are anonymous.